social business and healthcare with Ms. Lamia Morshid, Mr. Moin Chowdhury, Mr. Kishwar Ilban. The 18th of May, there will be social business and its challenges with Professor Jahangir Alam Chowdhury. At the end, the 20th of May, Zenat Islam and Shihab Qadir will talk about Yunus Social Center Network, and after the representative of the Yunus Social Center of Urbino, Bologna, Firenze, Venezia and Basilicata will explain the experience of social business in Italy. At the end, there will be two really interesting speeches. The House for Peace, an experience of an environmental sustainability for human rights by architect Mario Cucinella and Enzo Curcio, the CEO of the City of Peace Foundation. Father Enzo Fortunato, director of the press room of the Sacred Convent of Assisi, will end with the new approach to the economy. Thank you so much again to all of you. Please don't use the chat during the session. If you need to send some answer or some questions, please write to info@cityofpeace.it. And I will invite you to open the microphone and the camera at the end if there is enough time for all the answers. Now I'll give the floor to the Professor Aurelia Sole, Rector of the University of Basilicata, that will introduce the Professor Yunus. Thank you so much, and let's start. Professor Aurelia Sole.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to all of you. Thanks to Valerio Giambessio, the City of Peace Foundation, Director Enzo Curcio, and the colleague of my university, founder of the Yunus Center.
Just a moment, can you switch on your camera?
Is on my camera.
Okay, perfect. Okay, now it's clear. Okay, perfect.
Thanks to the others Italian Yunus Center. Today begins this higher education activity with Professor Muhammad Yunus after the emergency of COVID-19 with this title, important title, Rebuilding a Better World. Thanks to Professor Yunus that have been organized this activity with us. We all would like a world without poverty, employment, without pollution. It seems an utopia, but Professor Yunus, in his book, A World with 3 Zeros, claims that humanity can win the challenges, a model that becomes the answer to the economy of selfishness. After the COVID-19 emergency, this become a priority objective. However, ideas and courage are needed to control the measures necessary to face the difficulty of the failure made in these decades. Sorry, Enzo and Valerio, turn off the audio because there is an echo. Ok, anche Enzo, grazie. Hence, our higher education activity proposal as a moment to reflect not only on capitalism and consumerism and the damages produced, but on having a hope of being able to change our relationship with the planet, of following a sustainable economy. These emergencies days have taught us that man is not an indifferent individual to the neighbor, The real man is better, as say Professor Yunus. So we have to distinguish between an individualistic and a selfish capitalism and a social system that, together with profit, can solve the problem of the world. I would like to underline the importance of the presence of Professor Yunus, that is the inspirer of this initiative. Nobel Prize Professor Muhammad Yunus, father of social business and microcredit, is the founder of Grameen Bank and more than 50 other concomitant companies in Bangladesh. For its constant innovation and entertainment, Fortune magazine named Professor Yunus in March 2012 as one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. In 2006, Professor Yunus and Grameen Bank had been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. He holds 61 honorary degrees from university in 24 countries. University awarded the honoris causa degree to Professor Yunus. He has received 136 awards from 33 countries, including state honor from 10 countries. He is one of only 7 individuals to have received the Nobel Peace Prize, the United States Presidential Medal of Freedom, and the United States Congress Gold Medal. It's appeared on the cover of Time magazine, Newsweek, and Forbes magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, and thank you to Muhammad Yunus for being with us today and for the next days of meeting. Good work and good luck. Thank you.
Thank a lot to the Rector Aurelia Sole for hosting this event in the University of Basilicata network. And now I give the floor to Professor Muhammad Yunus for the speech. Thank you so much, Professor Yunus. You have to open your microphone, Professor Yunus. Professor Yunus, you have to open the microphone. Down, there is a switch that you have to turn on. Down there.
Yeah, okay. So can
okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, hello everybody, I'm here. And I'm delighted to be with you. And I was almost coming to Basilicata from Amsterdam. And next day I was supposed to come, and then the whole thing began, lockdown began. I had to change my plan, and in the meantime I was on the way to go back to Bangladesh. So since then I was hoping that I'll be able to come back to Basilicata someday, but today I'm very happy, and Professor Aurelia, for your wonderful introduction. And Professor Valerio for moderating it. And thank you for bringing all the wise BCs from Bologna, from Venezia, and also Florence, and of course Basilicata, all together in Urbino. And my friends in all those campuses, say hello to you. And today we'll be just chatting a little bit what's happening around us and what's happening to the world. One thing, Italy is very much in the picture right from the beginning, and the world has been always putting it as the news. So we are, wherever we are watching the situation that's happening in Italy, and we learn a lot from Italy. We try to use the experience of Italy in a way how to improve the situation in facing the corona catastrophe. So we are right in the middle of that catastrophe, and how we can save ourselves. While we are protecting ourselves from this catastrophe and trying to hide in our homes, maybe so that the virus cannot see us, we at the same time we have time for reflections to make what we have been doing so far, what needs to be done. So this is a great opportunity for being oneself, revealing what is going on. Sometimes we get lost in the daily work. We don't see ourselves. Today is a good opportunity to see ourselves, what we are, what we do need to do now, what we do in the future. And we have been trying to focus on two things. One is to address the present circumstances in Bangladesh and to see how we can help people using our social businesses, existing social businesses, in helping the medical professionals to protect themselves. Our public healthcare system is in shambles. It's not in a very good position to take care of not only the patients, but even the doctors, nurses, all healthcare professionals. They are exposed to the problems of infections and so on. So what we have been trying to do, how to protect the community of doctors and the hospitals and the nurses and the healthkeepers and so on, providing them with the healthcare gears so that they can protect themselves from the patients who are infected, and also providing them masks because these are not available to them. So we provide all this from our own social businesses to make sure that they can proceed. And we have introduced to our healthcare system. One of them is a social business on digital health, providing people free corona symptom checker so that you can identify yourself and give some knowledge, give some information. In the automatic checker, online checker gives you a result, whether you're prone to the virus or you're safe or you're high risk and so on. So people can identify their own positions so that people are happy with that. And also we provide free corona insurance so that you do it online and you go and you register yourself and you get insurance coverage for yourself. In case of infection, hospitalization costs are borne by the insurance, and also in case of unfortunate situation of death, then your family is covered with life insurance for yourself. So this is given free, and we make it a deal with the social business how to make that happen. So we have been providing also food, because people at the bottom, they lost their jobs, lost their income, lost their trading, petty trading, and so on. Nobody is on the street, everybody is home. So it's one thing that if you have an income and savings, staying home is easy, but your daily income is your daily bread, then it's not easy. So we have been trying to gather together all the social businesses to provide food for as many families as possible, continuously, over months and weeks and so on. So we do that every day. So these are some of the programs that we focus on. Everybody else is doing the same thing. I'm not saying that only social businesses are doing, the NGOs are doing, government is doing, everybody else is doing. So we try to play our part in doing that. And we had to design things in a completely new way, in innovative way, because we didn't think about such a situation will ever arise. But it's like here, we're in the middle of it. We cannot just shut it off from our existence and so on. Other thing, we are raising the issue what happens after we get out of this situation that we are passing through, that catastrophe. Someday catastrophe will be over, but we have to go back again to our life. But what kind of life it will be? That's the subject matter of this discussion today. And you have framed it very well. You say, building a better life, building a better world. This is our objective. This is what we should do. And this is a good opportunity. So when the whole system collapses, and which it is, the whole system has collapsed, world order is gone, so we have to build, we have to have the opportunity to build a new, do that. But just to, I know what you meant by creating a better world, but to clarify, when you say better, it may mean something else. You say we are in a good position, we want to be better. One is good, another is better. But that's not what we meant by it. We don't want to improve what we have. We're not moving from good to better. What I have in mind, and I'm sure you agree with that, before the corona, we were not in a good world at all. We were in a terrible world. So our challenge is how to make the terrible world not into even a better world, is an ideal world. So we should aim at the world who provides us the maximum happiness that we never had before. So it's not a marginal improvement from good to better. It's a drastic change. That's the challenge that we have to take. We all agree, wherever we are, whether we're in Italy or Bangladesh or Japan or Korea, it doesn't matter. We all agree, the whole world agrees, that before the coronavirus, we are not in a happy world. We were in a terrible world. That's what we have been discussing, that we're showing that the world is at end. We are in a disaster path, and very soon we'll be falling from the cliff, and the world will be over. And it was done not in a single dimension. It was happening in multiple dimensions, multiple directions. One is the climate change, global warming making us impossible to live on this planet. That's what the scenario until the coronavirus attacked us. Suddenly coronavirus comes, climate change, climate warming, global warming changes also. It's amazing. We thought we are turning for the worst. On the climate-wise, we are turning for the better. And if you continue this, we can go into the best. If you can keep the climate change in the direction that we are moving right now. And so how to continue that path rather than going back to the old path? So this is one. Global warming was something which is dangerous, which has brought us close to the end of the world. We are saying that we have maybe 2 decades or 3 decades before it will be all over. So I wrote on op-ed, I'm sure you have it, it's published in Republica, saying no going back. We are not going to go back, not to the terrible world under any circumstances. So this is the time to make up our mind. We are not going back to the terrible world that we are coming from. We want to create a new world for ourselves completely. It's not a better world, it's a new world. So we have to be very bold and very aggressive in demanding that, in creating that. This is our chance. So we have to design that thing for ourselves. And that's where, social business centers that you all have is very important. Social business centers can take a center stage that, yes, we have an idea how to make it a new world completely, moving away totally from the path that we were following before. The global warming path and wealth concentration path. Wealth concentration was a very, very ugly and dangerous path that we are following. This is an explosive situation. I even called it a ticking time bomb. It can just explode the whole world if you don't change ourselves. So, but the whole world was heading for that and making it worse every day. Do we want to go back to that? No way. If we do go back to it, it's almost like committing a suicide. We decided to destroy ourselves. That, I don't think human being will be so stupid to do that. So we have to warn everybody that we don't want to go back to that world that we're coming from. So we're not going to go back to the wealth concentration world. We're not going back to the global warming world. We're not going back to the unemployment world. Artificial intelligence was coming, and coming in a big way, and which means they will take away all the jobs the human beings are engaged in. Human beings will have no place of making their own talent, own creativity to make a living for themselves. Not only living, being creative by themselves with a completely happy environment around them and trying to address all the issues in their own way. So that opportunity will not be given to us when the artificial intelligence is coming. So how to address that? How to make sure artificial intelligence do not destroy us? So 3 basic paths of destruction that we are seeing. So when we try to create a new world, we have to make sure these three things are not repeated. How to make sure our world is not prone to sustaining and continuing with the global warming, making it uninhabitable by not only human beings, also for all other life forms. It's our responsibility to make sure we live happily in this planet. This is our home. Also, we let other life forms live in this planet. It's the same way, in a happy way, in a mutually coexistence, live together and enjoy together and be within each other. And this is the term that address also. So this is the direction we have to make. First, the fundamental decision is no going back. Then the second question, or the second thing will arise from that second issue that will occur, how do we take the new path? Old path is disaster path, new path has to be chosen, designed in a way it becomes a happy path, happy one for us. We're literally happy. We'll not give any a chance to repeat all the mistakes, all the dangerous things we did in the past. And that's where the reorganization comes, rethinking comes, imagination comes. That's where YSBCs comes. How to design this the best time. Even though the crazy designing, even a crazy design is a good design, because the crazier you are, probably you are closer to the path. Because what we are seeing in the normal world is a totally abnormal world. So in order to get out of that abnormal world, we have to do absolutely unbelievable steps, which doesn't make sense in the conventional way of doing things in the past and so on. So what are the things we have to do? We have to change our concepts of business, for example. That's where idea of social business came. You already have the profit maximizing business, and that's where we are surrendered. We have surrendered ourselves, and by surrendering ourselves, we created all the problems. So change that. And if you don't want to get have all those profit maximizing business, at least make room for social business. Zero profit business. Totally dedicating to solving all the problems that we are saying. And that's a wonderful thing to do. And in order to do that, you have to redesign the financial system. Because the financial system is the root of all the problems. So how to make that happen? Piece by piece, we see each one of them can be reversed. Now the whole financial system is geared towards making rich people richer. That's what the business of the financial system. Whichever you touch is the same thing. So we have to reverse that system. The whole financial system will be working at the bottommost person. How to pick the bottommost person and become a dignified person as a dignified human being. Quality-wise, all human beings are the same. Only system made all the difference. Some people get super rich, some people get extra pauper, extra poor. So that's not the kind of thing we want to do to our financial system. So how do we redesign it? And we have examples of microcredit, examples of Premium Bank. It's possible, it's done, but the system doesn't allow that. So how to build the system so that it not only allows it, it promotes it. All the banks have to be done in a way, banking has to be done in a way, nobody is excluded from the system. It's not about inclusion, it's about non-exclusion. We don't exclude anybody. Everybody has equal chance, not just a tiny chance, equal chance. That as much chance the rich people got, the poorest person has the same chance, same terms, so on. So how to redesign that? And we have made a beginning of it, so how to continue it in this when we come out of the coronavirus and the pandemic that we are going through. So financial system will be the key in doing that. Conceptual framework designing will be key in designing. And then the system of education. And we are all from the education institution today. We work with all the YSBCs. Education, again, is a fundamental. We have to rethink everything. And that's what the education system does. So how do we bring all these ideas into the education system? Education system is not only rethinking in terms of your career, in terms of your life, which is very important, what you want to do with your life. Education system has to answer that. And education system has to show that we are not giving you education so that you are prepared to take a job in a company, in a government office, or some other office. That's not the purpose of education, to find yourself a job. Education is for preparing you as a human being to change the world. It's not about job. So how to repurpose the entire education system? It's not about creating job-ready young people. It's about creating life-ready young people. A life which is consistent with everybody else's life and have a happy life. It's about happiness, not about making tons of money. Tons of money doesn't bring happiness. So we are shifting from money to happiness. How do you bring that happiness? And I've been talking about making money maybe happiness, making other people happy. It's a super happiness. And how to make that super happiness possible. So education system has to be redesigned, reworked, and so on. Health system has to be redesigned. And coronavirus has trained us very, very well on that. Our health system in most of our countries, particularly a country like Bangladesh, practically is non-existent when the crisis came. It's in a disarray completely. Has no idea how to protect people's life. That's not the health system about. The health system has to be something which is robust, which is available to everybody, and is a good, efficient healthcare system, and everybody have easy access to it. And you can design it as a social business healthcare system, and that's what we are trying to do. And I'm very happy during these days we saw how important this healthcare system is, how we can come close to the people to make that happen. So all these issues has to be addressed, has to be piece by piece, and make sure we design a system which brings us the world that we are dreaming about, a world of 3 zeros: zero poverty or zero wealth concentration, zero net carbon emission, zero unemployment. So if we can create that world, and we can create the process has to begin today, right now. We cannot wait, okay, when it will be over, and then we'll look for all this. No, we do it when we're in the deepest of the crisis. And we design it because now we feel the pain of what is happening. And we want to get rid of this pain forever so that we can make that. And nothing is impossible for human being. If we put our mind into it, it will happen. So that's the challenge that we have to take continuously, making that sure. And young people are in the best place. And university and education system is all about young people. If young people is the one who will create that world, because they can feel the new ideas, new imaginations. They are full of imaginations. Let your imagination go as far as they can. Don't hesitate. Let it be what you want to be, and make sure you design it and you act on it. If you are late, if you wait for coronavirus to go away, it will be too late, because then everybody, all the government offices, all the ministries, all the businesses will be in a rush to get to the gravy train. Money, money, money. Everybody will forget everything else. So before that crash comes, the money crash comes, that everybody runs after money. We don't have to listen to anybody. We have to be ready so that people see this is an option that we have to take. And in the meantime, we have to bring back the message that we don't want to go back. We have a chance. We know we can do that. We can create a whole new world for us and all the future generations who are waiting for us. Thank you very much. I'll stop here and let you have a discussion on this if you wish to, and I'm very happy to participate in the discussion. I can't hear any voice anymore.
Thank you, Professor Yunus. It's very important that university work in this direction, because it's necessary to help with young people for a good future. Valerio?
Valerio, are you there?
Valerio is not here.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start with a question.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor Yunus. Hello, everybody. It's from the Yunus Social Business Center from University of Bologna. Thank you for your clear and sharp vision and your words. We wonder if the social business finance must be integrated into the current financial system regulation. It can be an opportunity to spread the social message but at the same time, it could be locked in rules and compliance framework. So it's better to work inside the current framework, the financial regulation scheme, or better to try to move these kind of ideas around the financial system? Thank you for your suggestions.
Yeah. First of all, if you try to put it, it may mean different things. Put it under the present system. Present system is antagonistic to what I'm saying. It doesn't allow things to happen different way. They're very rigid. That's why you see microcredit coming bank has been there for more than 42 years. It's very popular. Everybody admires it. Everybody loves this. But it still is not the mainstream of financial system. It's still a footnote because the financial system doesn't allow such things. You don't see another Grameen bank in another country. System doesn't allow. Central bank doesn't worry about creating Grameen bank. Their main thing is conventional banks. So we have to design the whole thinking process of the financial system first before you can let's have this. So first of all, the financial system is to make a decision in a new world that all people have to be served with the financial system. And they must not exclude anybody. Since they have so far excluded of more than half of the population of the world, so the new system should begin with serving the unserved first, because we know how to serve the rich people. That is not something we have to discover, but we don't know. We don't have a system how to make it happen for the poor people. So while we are serving the rich people, we have to learn how to do the poor people. And that learning that comes through the already existing experience from us, from the main bank, from the microcredit experience all over the world. The experiences are there, but it's in a tiny experimental stage. It is not done in a bold central policy. So we have to create new banks, banks for the poor. And law has to be done, should be integrated in the central bank policy. If there are 100 banks for the rich people, there should be at least 100 banks for the poor people too. If there are so many trillion euro going to the rich, those trillions should be going to the poor too. In the financial system, I'm not talking about donation. It's a good financial system. Grameen Bank is not a donation bank. Today, Grameen Bank has an enormous amount of money to serve the poor people, internal money, not something coming from outside. So this is the experience that you have to put it there as a policy, as a structure. So we are talking about changing the structure, changing the whole mindset of the bank. So it's not just adding microcredit into the existing system. So whole design of the banking that if you have so many here, it should be so many there also. Nobody should be excluded from the system.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Excuse me, I will fall down my connection. So now there is the question of Professor Elisabetta Righini of the University of Urbino. Please, Professor Righini,
Hello everybody, and thank you to Professor Mavrogian. So happy to see you, even in this particular situation. I'm here with my friend Felicia Bongiovanni, and she wants to greet you also.
Hello.
Yes, I have written down two questions because I'm too much emotional now. So I read my questions. My first one is, some analysts have pointed out that the emergence of the coronavirus crisis has made the overall crisis of the capitalist system more acute. Is accompanied by widespread public support in the economy and by the massive intervention of central banks, which lead to the cancellation of the return on financial capital, practically. I mean, in addition, there is a reduction in the operating profits of corporate risk capital that has been going on for some years. Can this crisis of profitability of financial investments have a favorable impact on the diffusion of social business, which by definition excludes the financial return on the investment? This is my first question. And the second one is, which economic sectors after this period of crisis should the creation of social business turn to for a most effective social, environmental, and economic impact? And I, of course, I'm thinking about the field of culture and education. And as you know, we have this program about business and culture, and we think that culture is a great engine of development for the economic system. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll start from that, from the culture and music and arts and all that. This is part of our life. This is what the happiness is all about. The money came and kind of pushed away. Our mind is taken over. Our mind is taken over with the money thinking. So our thinking process has to change. We are not here to get money, push each other out. We are here to share life. That's where art, music, and everything comes together. That's a sharing of life and happiness. That's what the happiness is all about. Now, we in the system that we are trying to get away from is equate everything in terms of money. So we have to get out of that system, that we don't equate everything as money, that we don't want to do that. So this is one thing I will emphasize because you raised that issue. And the second point I want to emphasize in your question, all the bailout packages and so on. And this is what I said, when the stampede will begin to catch the train again, get to the train and move on with life. Move on with the old life and the dangerous life. We don't want to do that. So bailout is absolutely necessary because everything starts from zero. So bailout to whom? Who do we bail out from? Do we bail out fossil fuel industry, for example? No, why should we? Because they created all the problems. And now we got a chance. Why should government money, public money be given to fossil fuel industry to repeat the same old world that we are trying to get away from? So you have a choice. Should we or should we not? So anything which created our problems in the past, fossil fuel industry is one, the most important culprit to the global warming. So we should be turning off that engine forever. We will not turn it on and with our public money. Whatever they have, we can do that, but we should bring in social consciousness in business. So we said we will not allow any business which doesn't have a social consciousness, social considerations. So environmental considerations, which should destroy our environment, will not let that happen, even with their own money. So we'll get rid of the fossil fuel if we have its decision made. That's the right decision. And there's plastic industry. We don't want plastic industry. It's destroying the planet. Why should we invite back them again? And why should we use bailout money to undo the problem that they have and help them to do that? So this is another one to make sure. And what are the things that we support so that they can go? And businesses which are good for us and so on, and we want to give the money to the owners of this company. Now that they're in trouble, they have to refinance themselves. Should we go and refinance the rich people? We have a choice. We want to revive the industry which we like, but we have options. We can create a social business partner, give the finance to the social business to invest in the reviving industry. So social business become a partner of the reviving industry rather than the rich people becoming richer with the government money. So here we have a partnership coming from the social business and allow to buy back the shares that they have to sell in order to survive. So social business provides that facility. And we create social business venture capital fund. Then the venture capital, social businesses can be created to buy off the companies which are bankrupt. And that will be sold in for pennies because they have not worked anymore. So social businesses can buy back these companies and recreate them, redesign them as social business, so that a social business sector grows. Is it possible? We have to create social business investment funds, social business venture capital funds, all kinds of financial institutions in terms of social business. We can create all the microcredit programs as social business. All the banks, a new class of banks will be created, not as a money-making business, but as a social business. Social business, these banks will make money, but the money will be recycled to help people. The owners don't do that. So that conceptualization, and the governments and the regional government, central government, all can play that role, creating venture capital funds, social business funds, and all kinds of things, and social business, and will encourage all the corporates to take a social business partner in order to qualify for the bailout money from the government. If you don't have a social business partner, then you do not qualify. This is possible because government has to decide what kind of economy they want to grow. So those are the policy issues that we have to develop right now in our universities, in our researchers, in research institutes, and so on. If we say, okay, everything will be okay, nothing will be okay. We'll be pushed back again to the same old world, which is going to destroy us anyway. So going back is not an option. It's a suicide. We don't want to commit suicide.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're always illuminating. Thank you.
Very much.
So much. There is also Enzo Curcio, this is our CEO, that won a little speech. Not an answer.
Thank you, Enzo.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Professor Yunus.
Hello. Hi, hello.
Yeah, I'm fine, and I would like to continue about the topic of social business capital fund, because we have this this situation now in Italy. There is the government that ask for an intervention of European Union. Also, the government is ready to ask for more loans. Italy is the second largest country with high debt in the world after Japan, and we will become the first after this crisis. The country is also, the rate of unemployment after COVID will be most probably around 17%, and Spain, for example, 25%. But we see the first approach of the public authority is the usually approach in to be helped by financial system, but also by financial entity like IMF, like also European Central Bank. How to encourage local authority, because in Italy we have a law that can permit also the intervention of the governors and the regions, and the central authority to approach a different kind of finance or help to rebuild another kind of enterprises in the country. And it is possible to make a national social business plan to fight unemployment. This is my question.
That's a very important question, because right now unemployment is at the peak everywhere, because the economy has stopped or almost stopped in most of the countries. People have no place to earn a living through job. The job was the only option for people to make a living. Existing economic thinking didn't allow us to think any other way but to take a job for a living. So that's where we have to address, when we have to go back. Should we go back to the job-oriented economy? Because our new thinking will come as not an exclusive job-oriented economy, but an economy where young people will have two options, either a job option or the entrepreneurship option. Each young person, each unemployed person has as much capacity to become an entrepreneur as seeking a job. So why should we go into single track? So government should be encouraged to put equal attention to both. Maybe more attention to entrepreneurship, because that idea didn't exist. It needs a lot of doing, lots of promoting, lots of encouragement, lot of inspiration to young people that go ahead, do it, and we'll be behind you. Even if you fail, we'll not abandon you. We'll make sure we take you to success. So business failure is a common thing, and you're doing it for the first time in history. So chances of failure is quite high. So if you fail, we'll still be with you, and we'll work with you to make you successful as an entrepreneur. And that's a hard task. You have to start this. That's why I'm talking about the investment funds, venture capital fund. Special venture capital fund can be created only for creating the equity for the unemployed young people who are looking forward for the first time in their life to become entrepreneurs. So they have to develop that skill, which we have done in Bangladesh. We create that opportunity. So it's not hundreds, it's thousands and thousands of young people who are unemployed. We give them opportunity to become entrepreneurs. So it's a possibility. But if you go to a banker, they will dismiss you right away because their thinking doesn't work that way. All kinds of wild things, all kinds of kind of funny ideas. These are concrete ideas. So we have to take that risk to defy the existing thinking. So otherwise unemployment will be sitting on your shoulder and cripple the whole economy for good. We cannot do that. If the young people become entrepreneurs, economy starts on their own. So given the situation that the young people have no option because they're in the job, and they say this is an option. In the beginning, they'll say, okay, I'll do the entrepreneurship first because there's no other option. But once I get an option, I'll move on. By the time the job will come, they'll be so involved in the entrepreneurship, they'll think twice whether I should give up or take a job at the same time I run my business and ask my friend to become partner. Together we'll run the business at the same time I do the job. This is a second kind of thing. People want to hedge. People want to kind of protect themselves to uncertainties. So those are the things you have to think now, start now, to create those institutions. If you don't create an institution, simply some donations, some foundation money will not solve the job. Because you are still hiding behind that old thinking. You have to get rid of the old thinking. That's the basic thing that I'm talking about. When I say no going back, I'm talking about no going back to old ideas, old institutions. We have to create new institutions, new policies, new thinking.
Thank you so much, Professor Yunus. Thank you, Corso. The next question is from Francesco Somma. He is the president of the Confederation of Industries of Basilicata, Confindustria.
Hello.
Please, you have to turn on your microphone, Mr. Somma.
Francesco, il microfono. Francesco, microfono e video.
Mr. Somma, deve accendere il microfono. In basso a sinistra. C'è un'icona.
Valerio non c'è, insomma, non riesce a riconnettersi, adesso Donato lo sta riammettendo nella chat, quindi magari la prossima domanda.
The next, we wait for Mr. Somma, and now there is the Pega Mushirpur, that is a graduate of the University of Basilicata. Please, Pega, open your camera.
Okay.
Hi to everyone. Hello, Professor Yunus. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay, so the COVID-19 crisis has shown us how nature is perfect, above all, without man. So, instead, for us, the demonstration that without it we cannot live, both physically and psychically. And we can call this crisis the crisis of superfluous, and the awareness of how much our everyday choice was superfluous, so especially in purchasing and its global impact emergencies. And my question is, what role could have the social business in the implementation of the Green New Deal of the European Union?
Important. This is the argument that I'm placing. Everything that we do, social business idea should be playing a central role, because whichever direction we go, we have to start with one basic principle that we should have in our decision making social business idea in mind, that is option, and also the basic idea, basic principle is social consciousness, central focus. We will not make any decision which will defy the social consciousness. We will not go back to the single direction of making money. If there are some people who are making money on their own without any government support to it, then they will be encouraged to create a parallel business, a social business, to address the thing that they do not do with their existing business. So we will encourage by our policy, by our inspirations, that every business can create a social business on the side. And they can have joint ventures with social businesses. We'll encourage them to have joint ventures with them. Social businesses will explain to them that they will not it will not harm them, rather than it will be useful for them. So social consciousness should be at the center of it, and the social business is an expression of it, is a tool, is a vehicle, how to make it happen. So we have to start that process. We cannot just say that we want to create a new world without giving the steps, designing the steps. These are the steps that we have to follow. And that's why social business centers, where the young people will be addressing these issues in their own way, and the faculty members will be helping them. Start with the imagination. See, with imagination, people don't fight. They say, okay, this is an imaginary situation, this is a utopian situation. Start with utopian situation. When people like the utopian situation, some guys say, why don't we make it real? And then real ideas start coming in. So encourage the young people, even the adults, even with the experienced people, come with an idea what kind of financial system we can build which can serve all the services of the financial system to the poorest person, even the homeless persons. They are not, anybody is not excluded. And you can come up with an imaginary situation and bring all the concepts of financial system and apply that. How to make that happen? How to make sure that if the rich people get this, why can't it get this one? And in your imagination, you solve those problems. So this is the direction I'm inviting, to open your mind. As long as we hide behind the old thinking, we'll be always sheltered in that old thinking, to go to the same old familiar path and same old terrible end. We can't get rid of it. So this is the time of defiance, creating things completely new and make that happen. And start with the steps that we can follow.
Thank you so much, Professor Yunus. Now there is Francesco Somma. Is arrived. Francesco Somma is connected.
Ancora no, Valerio, ancora no. Ora gli è stato inviato il link.
Okay, so we go on. Stefano Campostrini, University of Venezia. Please, can you open?
Well, good morning, afternoon, whatever, and
good afternoon.
Thanks, Professor Yunus. Your words are always so inspiring, and let me tell that I'm so honored to be humbly part of this global team that should change the world. I do believe that the social business approach could be one of the way out for building not only a more equal and sustainable society, but also more resilient communities. And here my question, do you think that this is something that should interest only new businesses, or that could or should involve also existing businesses? And if yes, there is also a matter of size of businesses potentially interested, small versus big firms or something like that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me put it this way. We all agree that the whole economic system will be in collapse by the end of the corona pandemic. So there is no functioning economic system as such. Even if there is, this is a marginal, minuscule leftover of the old system. So when you say Whether my social business will be new business or will be old business, there will be little old business that will have in our picture. We see all businesses have to be new in a new form. So this is our chance. How? Why should the old business should be a new business? For one thing, there will be a terrible economic situation, financial situation. So that's why that huge amount of bailout packages will be coming from the government, from the central bank, and so on, from all kinds of, from the European Union, all the bailout packages. Bailout packages means they can now decide who to provide that bailout package. So they make a rule. If your business can be designed in such and such a way, we can invest in your business. And that idea that I was providing, one of the policy would be, yes, we'll be financing you, but not to you as an owner. We'll create new owners for your business. These will be the social business owners. So social business owner will give the money to the social business owners to own the business, own the shares of your company, so that the company can revive. The new reviving company would be a company which is owned by both profit-making shareholders and social business shareholders. So it will not be the old kind of thing, I'm the family business owner, I can run whatever you can't do that because you have now a social business partner. So I said government money or bailout money should not go to a company to make the existing owners more rich out of the problem that we have done. In order to create more jobs, more things, revive the economy, all kinds of arguments will be shown. All the social business is not a functioning thing, it's never experimented, it's never. They will have 101 arguments, maybe 1,000 arguments against it. But we have to be tough. The theory is we created these institutions, social business institutions, who start buying your shares to revive you. And the government money will come to these institutions, these venture capitals, these investment funds. So government will be supporting these investment funds, social business investment fund, and so on and so forth. So I'm saying that you can let the business grow by itself. You're not interfering with it. You have money, you go ahead and do it because I can't stop you. But I can make new rules for you. That you have been destroying the climate, so you have to eliminate those things before you come in. Because I have a checkpoint. In the checkpoint, I'll see whether you're destroying the climate, you're destroying the planet, you're destroying our everyday life. For example, I mentioned fossil fuel, I mentioned plastic. I would be also showing who are developing a cattle industry. I said, no, the cattle industry is not good for the world because it's also contributing in a vastly in creating a problem for the planet and global warming. So we have to do that. So in each one we'll be examining this. So those are the screening that we have to, like we are screening the people from the coronavirus, we have to now use the same screening process for the businesses that we have. To find their temperature, find out whether it is a hot business or it is an acceptable temperature for the planet, that they do not contribute to the viruses, to the temperature of the planet, and they do not contribute to the wealth concentration. That's also a very dangerous thing. So if it is contributing to the wealth concentration, we will not support that industry. Why should we support ourselves a policy which will again kill us sooner or later? Getting out of it is not the solution. Getting out and be safe is the solution. They have to remember that we have to be safe. We have to be happy. We have to create a new world. Otherwise, you go back and you have the same thing, same businesses, same world, same paper, same governments, and so on. This is again waiting for a few years only, and then we'll finish, never to get back again. So those are the points I'll say. So can we come to the conclusion and finish it at this stage, or?
Yes, the time is finished, but I will try to check if there is Francesco Somma.
Okay.
Okay.
There is Francesco Somma, the president of...
Yes, I am.
Okay. So you can do your work.
Good evening to Professor Yunus. Good evening,
Thank you.
Professor Sole. Good evening to all. It's truly a great honor to speak with you. A man who gave hope to the dispossessed to the world. And dear Professor, The pandemic
Yes.
has overwhelmed our certainties and has triggered an economic crisis, which, if not effectively addressed, risks turning into a financial crisis, especially for countries with high public debt.
Yeah.
What will happen to globalization with net of negative side effects has certainly brought millions of people out of deeper poverty. If globalization stops, Professor, how can you avoid the return to autarchic and often illiberal sovereignties? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm not arguing against globalization. It's a globalization for a purpose. Globalization is not to make rich people rich. Globalization is to share the wealth of everybody. You know, when we talk about wealth concentration, 99% of the wealth is concentrated in few hands, in 1 or 2% of the population of the world. That's a very ugly situation. This is not even a distribution. It's a kind of a mockery of a distribution of resources. So this is the old world that we are coming from. So when we say this is how this is happening with the financial institution, this is happening with the globalization. Globalization has been used to make the concentration of the wealth in few countries, maybe 6, 7, 8 countries. All the wealth of the world is concentrated in half a dozen countries. This is not the globalization. This is the ugly part of the globalization. So we have to create a globalization for sharing, not sucking. So this is the kind of thing we have to understand, that who controls what. So as you are designing, even in an imaginary situation, in that imagination, you should be creating a world, those who have their own shares. If I'm 2% of the world population, I should be having access to 2% of the world to a country. So this is how we should be designing things which should make it happen. It is not a charity thing that suddenly I take something and give it to you. It's not like that. We have to build a system. And when I talk about system, I give an example to software. It's like a software of a computer. So we design a software so that it works exactly like the way we want it to happen. Because after all, economy is a product of a software that we believe in our mind, this is how it should be working. And that's why we do it, and we set the code accordingly so that all the wealth goes in one direction. So we now create a new coding of the system. So we have a new codes and create a new software, new ideas, new concepts, so that globalization is for the good of the people, not for one-way direction of their wealth and so on. So this is what we have been talking about. And that is important. Of course, coronavirus has got the whole system to almost collapse. And no matter what you do, you have to get into action. My question is, what action? Do you take the same old action that we took in 2008? And I argued the same thing in 2008. I said, look, do you want to go back to the same track that you have been derailed from? The world economy has derailed. Now you want to put the whole economy back to the track? I said, no, I don't want to put the world economy back to the track. This is 2008. I said, we have to build a new track and then put the train on the new track to take us in a different direction. Again, we got a chance. This time, it came in a massive way, in a global way. So we have a better chance, and we have concepts, we have experiences to put the new track first and put the train to make all those things happen. In the beginning, it looks like very utopian, but all the starting point is utopian because it sounds utopian. The other thing is so safe because we know it. This thing, we don't know it. We have to try because it makes sense, because that's what we want to go. Knowing fully well that this track will take us to a suicidal path, why should I take that path? And knowing that I can create a new path, I can create a new track, why shouldn't we create that new track? Even if it's not completely 100% certain, but we'll try. Somewhere we'll get it done. That's the point I'm raising. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Professor Yunus, hello. I am Luisa Brunori speaking. Hi. I'm so happy to see you. I was supposed to be at the 5th position, but something happened, and I'm here at the very last question. How are you? Very happy to see you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I see you. It was very interesting, what a discussion. And I have one question to ask you, which is...
I thought we finished
Sorry?
I thought we concluded this.
Yeah, yes, but it is finished with this question.
Quick one.
Due to this is a very critical situation, as we know, and you have already spoken a lot about that. So many things have to be changed. So I'm wondering whether you have an idea of what could be an opportunity, in our opinion, on which could be the starting point of this process that has to, the beginning, to face the beginning of the reconstruction of a new world, let us say. And in I have, as you know, I am a psychologist, so I have my point, which is the mindset of people that that is connected to the economical system. Win, lose, lose, win. We are enemies. Win, win. We are friends. We try to. So I suppose this is my, and I would like to have your comment on this aspect about how to manage. Because also another point is that we have to focus on the individuals, because they produce the economical system in some way, in a way that is often unaware. And so I think that, in my opinion, I would like to know your impression or your idea about this aspect of the mindset of the people.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I was promoting that idea. Individual is the key. If we change our mind, world will change. So if we don't change our mind, world will remain unchanged. So we have to start with individual, and I am emphasizing now that we are talking to all the university people, and you have the key in your hand, because young people, if you can change the mind in a different way, you create a mindset in a different way in the young people, world will change. Otherwise, we'll just follow the same old hash that we have been doing now. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Yunus. Shall I send you a kiss? May I? May I send you a kiss? Yes.
We have to conclude because Professor is very gentle with us, so we have to conclude, please. Just the final word to the director of the Yunus Center of Basilicata, just to do a short greetings for Professor Yunus, and thank you so much to all of the people that have worked with us. The other question that I left, we will send to the Professor Yunus, and you receive an answer. Also during the next session with Lamia Moshid. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please, Ferdinando Di Carlo, you can talk.
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Professor Yunus, for being here with us. Thank you from the University of Basilicata. We are pleased to have you here with us. And I hope to see you next year at the end of the pandemic here to have your honorary degree. Thank you again. And we are waiting for everyone for the next lessons of our course. This was a very good start, a very interesting start for us. Thank you again, and good evening.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to visiting you. Thank you very much for organizing this.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Excuse people that haven't had the occasion to have the answer, but you receive after. Thank you so much, Professor Yunus. You are very gentle with us.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you. See you in Venice soon, I hope.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye to all.
Bye-bye.
Professor Yunus, see you in Basilicata the next time.
See you in Basilicata next time. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Good night, Professor Yunus.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night to all of you. Excuse for the people that haven't answered.
Grazie a tutti, saluti Aurelia, saluti alla città della pace.
Grazie.
Grazie ancora, interessantissimo.
Grazie, arrivederci. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.